money won't buy happiness. And it turns out it's true. Research by psychologists and sociologists and economists shows that while the absence of money, poverty, makes people miserable, once their basic needs are met, additional money does not translate into higher levels of satisfaction.
What if the relentless pursuit of wealth, the very thing our society screams is the ultimate goal, doesn't lead to paradise, but to ruin? What if getting everything you ever wanted is the worst thing that could ever happen to you? There's an old quote from the 1700s that says, "Where wealth accumulates, men decay." For a long time, I thought that was just something poor people said to feel better about being broke. But the more I looked into it, the more I saw a terrifying pattern. A pattern that has repeated throughout history and might be happening right now to us. This isn't just about history. This is about your bank account, your ambition, and your future. We're going to look at the cold, hard data and the psychological studies that reveal the dark side of getting rich and what you can do to avoid the trap that has destroyed empires, families, and souls. Let's travel back in time for a second. Picture America in the late 1800s, the Gilded Age. This was the age of titans. Names we still know today: Rockefeller, Carnegie, Vanderbilt. These guys weren't just rich, they were building the modern world. They laid thousands of miles of railroad tracks, built factories taller than cathedrals, and created industries out of thin air. The wealth they accumulated was staggering, something the world had never seen before. They built mansions that looked like European castles on Fifth Avenue in New York. They threw parties where guests would find diamond bracelets tucked into their napkins. From the outside, it looked like humanity was peaking. This was progress. This was success. Wealth was accumulating on a scale that was almost unimaginable. It was a gold-plated paradise. But if you scratched beneath that thin layer of gold, you found something rotten. While a handful of families lived in absurd luxury, the vast majority of people who fueled this engine were living in squalor. This is where the second part of that old quote kicks in. Men decay. While the wealth accumulated at the top, the humanity of the nation was eroding. Kids as young as 8 were working 12-hour days in dangerous factories and coal mines, their bodies broken before they even had a chance to grow. Workers lived in crowded, filthy tenements, often with no running water, earning just enough to not starve to death. The gap between the rich and the poor wasn't a gap, it was a canyon. And with this massive inequality came a decay in morality. Corruption was rampant. Politicians were bought and sold like cattle. The powerful believed they were a different species, that the rules simply didn't apply to them. They saw their workers not as people, but as cogs in a machine, easily replaced. The accumulation of wealth had led to a deep moral sickness. So you might be thinking, okay, that was over 100 years ago. We have laws against child labor now. Things are different. Are they really? Let's fast forward to today. The numbers are almost hard to believe. A recent report by Oxfam found that since 2020, the 5 richest men in the world, have more than doubled their fortunes. Meanwhile, nearly 5 billion people have gotten poorer. Let that sink in. The scale of wealth accumulation today makes the Gilded Age look like pocket change. We're living in a new Gilded Age, on a global scale, and the signs of decay are everywhere if you know where to look. We see it in the deaths of despair from addiction and suicide. We see it in the intense political division, where both sides feel like the system is rigged against them. We see it in the endless chase for more, fueled by social media, that leaves people feeling empty and anxious no matter how much they have. This isn't just about society, though. It's about what happens inside the human brain when it's flooded with too much wealth. There's a psychological term for it, affluenza. It's a condition where extreme wealth leads to a loss of motivation, a feeling of isolation, and a deep sense of guilt or meaninglessness. Think of the lottery winners whose lives completely fall apart. They end up broke, addicted, with their relationships shattered. They got the money, but it destroyed them. The problem is that the struggle, the striving, the need to work with others to overcome challenges, that's what gives life meaning. When you can buy anything you want, nothing has value anymore. The challenges disappear, and with them, your purpose. This is where things get truly chilling. It's not just a feeling, it's something scientists can measure. A researcher at UC Berkeley named Paul Piff ran a series of fascinating experiments. In one, he brought in pairs of people to play a game of Monopoly, but the game was rigged. One player, chosen at random, got twice as much money to start, collected twice the salary when they passed go, and got to roll 2 dice instead of 1. It was a completely unfair advantage. Now, what do you think happened? Did the rich players feel bad? Did they try to even things out? Nope, the exact opposite. As the game went on, the rich players started to act differently. They became louder, moving their pieces with more force, smacking them down on the board. They even started eating more pretzels from a bowl that was meant for both players. After the game, they attributed their win not to the obvious unfair advantage, but to their own superior skill and strategy. The money made them less empathetic, more selfish, and more convinced of their own greatness. Wealth, it turns out, can literally change how you see the world and other people. It can turn you into a worse version of yourself. So, the quote is true. Unchecked wealth accumulation leads to decay. We saw it in the Roman Empire, we saw it in the Gilded Age, and we're seeing the warning signs today. It's a decay of morals, a decay of empathy, and a decay of the social fabric that holds us all together. The relentless pursuit of money for its own sake is a trap. It promises happiness, but delivers emptiness. It promises freedom, but delivers a prison of isolation. This isn't an argument against being successful or financially secure. It's a warning against making wealth your only god. True wealth isn't just about the number in your bank account. It's about the strength of your relationships, the health of your body and mind, your sense of purpose, and your contribution to something bigger than yourself. Wealth without purpose is what decays.